Okay, welcome back to the Asset Protector. Look, thank you for stopping by, but check this out. This is part 2. We're talking about Federal Reserve Jerome Powell potentially being fired and how that could and would and is likely to impact the stock market. Okay? You got money tied up in a 401k. It's in the stock market. Stock market crash. What do you think is going to happen to your money? Do you think it's going to continue to grow, or you think you're going to lose it? I don't know. You be the judge of it. But I know that if the stock market crashes and your money is in it, and you're not in the right type of program or plan, then you're going to lose your money. That's just all it is to it. Ain't no might. You're going to lose it. No maybe. You're going to lose it. You worked all this hard, all this long, saved up all that money only to lose it. And there are countless people that has been in that situation. So I am here to help you move from in front of that moving bullet train, right? There's probably 3 reasons that I can think of why a person would have money in their 401k account. 1, you still with that employer and you're still making contributions. 2, you don't know any better. Or 3, you just stubborn and crazy as hell, and you think it can't happen to you, that you lose your money. I hope that you are in 2, you just don't know better. You got money, you would move it if you had a better solution. Well, that's where I come in at. Because if you have money in that account and you're still working with an employer, you can't take it all out of your retirement account. It was a 401k or 457 or 403b, TSP, whatever. You can't take that money out until you leave. That you have to be either terminated, like they're talking about doing with Jerome Powell. You got to think, Jerome Powell is the chair of the Fed, of the Federal Reserve Bank. He ain't needing no money. He ain't hurting for no money. Doesn't matter. And then he only has 8 months left on his term. So what difference does it make to him? I'm talking about you. People like you and me, regular people that work hard for our money and that we want to make sure that our money gets the best treatment and preferential tax treatment. Now, if you are with that company, you're going to have to leave a portion of it in there. I get that, right? But let's say you left that company. Now, you can't be crazy enough to leave your money in there. Now, hopefully you just don't know no better. If you know better, you do better. But if you leave your money in your 401k plan, first of all, you wouldn't break up with someone that you're in a relationship with. You wouldn't leave your lover and leave your money with them, would you? Of course not. That would not be a wise decision. You would take your money with you. So when you left your employer, why does your employer still seem to be the person who's the custodian of your money? Why is your past employer still the custodian over your money? When you got that 401k plan, when you got that thrifted savings plan, do you think it was for you or for the employer or government? Which one do you think? You TSP, you thrifted savings plan, you with the government, you're a federal employee. Who do you think they care more about? You or let's just strike that, because they've already showed you, especially if you work for the Fed, that you are quite disposable. And they'll get rid of you quick. You don't have no kind of safety net. But I get it. If you leave there, take your money, put it someplace else. If you've already left your job, whether you're in the private sector or whether you work in the public sector, doesn't matter if you're in the government sector, if you have a savings plan towards retirement, okay? And you have left that company, you no longer work for that company, you were fired, you quit, whatever the case might be, you retired, and your money is still sitting there. But it's one caveat. If you've already started taking that money out, then you're stuck like Chuck. But if you have not started taking that money out, holler at me, holler at the asset protector, and let me help you move that money, right? So that you will have a self-guided plan now, to where you can put your money to where you want it, and now you are the custodian and not your past employer. Your past employer is the past. And how hard do you think they're working for you if you are a was been, has been, or whatever you are and ain't no more? How much do you think they care about you? Really? Do you think they love you that much? They're not going to be trying to keep up with your plan. They're not going to be moving stocks around and looking at different indexes to put your money in so it can grow. It's just going to be sitting there in the financial graveyard. It's going to be sitting in the graveyard, waiting for a time like when President Trump's pulled the rug out from under the present Federal Reserve's chair. Your money going to be gone. Let me tell you why it's gone. Because the stock market is going to crash. And when that stock market crashes, and it may not crash, but would you rather be in a car that has insurance on it or a car that does not have insurance on it if you get into a crash? It's better to have that safety net in place. Nobody knows what the market is going to do. And anybody that's telling you that they know for certain what the market is going to do, it's unbelievable, because no one knows what the market is going to do. But I do know that they are predicting that the market is going to crash. And I believe that that's what's going to happen, because hedge fund people, right? Mutual fund people, investors, they don't like uncertainty. Investors hate that. Now, we know that the market may not make us a whole lot of money, but we're talking now about the uncertainty of you losing your money. And if the market does crash, the certainty is that you will lose your money, or you will most likely lose your money, or historically, you will lose your money. So take a portion of that money, instead of putting 20% if you're still with the employer, maybe put 6% in that plan and let them match it, and put your money over here where it's going to be safer, right? So you might have more money by letting them match it, but you have to think about the security of your money. What could actually happen if the stock market crashed, right? You've been driving a car for 20 years. Some of you for 30 or 40 years, you've been paying car insurance and never had an accident. And then some people have driven for 1 month and had an accident, or 1 year and had an accident. So it's better to have that safety net in place than not to have it in place. And for God's sakes, if you have left the employer, why in the hell do they still have your money? Look me in the face and tell me. In fact, drop it in the comments. I very rarely ask for you to comment on anything. But tell me why it makes good sense to have your money with someone that you're no longer with. You left that employer and your money is still there. When you can take that money out of that 401k, put it into an annuity, and that protects you against the volatility of the stock market. Should the market crash, you still have your money. If the stock market is growing and increasing, your money is increasing. Think about it. It's like being in a one-sided relationship, what they call being in a relationship with benefits, meaning that you're in love with this person, but you're having relationships all around the place. In other words, you've been around the world and now and you can't find your baby because you're drinking water in somebody else's water hole, reservoir on the other side of the fence, when all you got to do is protect your own water hole and drink from your own cistern. I'm just saying, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not no rocket scientist, but I do have rocket science friends. I'm not the sharpest knife in the cutlery drawer, but I will scratch your ass if I have to, and I know what I'm talking about, right? I might not be the brightest color in the crayon box, but I ain't no fool, right? And what I'm telling you now, you can mark my word with my black stained skin, right? My beautiful black stained skin. You can take that to the bank, and I'm telling you that if you don't have your money protected, you're going to be up the creek without a paddle. That's the end of that. Bye for now.